Okay, so let's see. I had a friend that called the other day and she wanted me to do a cooking class. And we checked our dates on our calendars. It's always hit or miss. So, one of the things that she wanted to learn how to make is a dish that I've served for several of my friends before. It's a honey crusted almond salmon. It's really not that difficult to make, it's really simple. The hardest thing, of course, with salmon is always taking the skin off the back. I usually like for them to do that at the grocery store, at the meat market. I like for them to take that off for me. Um, but no such luck this time. The guy was not experienced with that. So we've got our salmon, a big fillet of it, as you can see. So I'm going to have to do this myself this time. Um, it's best to go ahead and cut your salmon into I'd say probably 4 to 6 ounce sizes for whoever's going to be eating it, because it's really difficult to cut a whole layer of skin off a big piece of salmon like this. So if you'll just watch me do that, then we will get started with the other in a minute. Okay. Salmon can be a little tough to cut through sometimes. You need a good sharp knife. So mine's not sharp, but I will get through it. Okay, so as you can see, this is about the size that I'm talking about. You see Bella running around in the background. That's a friend's dog. I'm doggy sitting today. Or should I say my husband's been doggy sitting. Okay, next thing you want to do is just remove the skin off the back. And I like to start with the fattier piece on the end, because you can sort of get through that first. But it's almost like putting the knife down on a piece of paper and then just slicing and keeping it as close to the board as you possibly can, all the way all across. And then once you get about that much of it cut, you can pull the rest of it off, and it usually comes off pretty clean without taking too much meat away. So you've got a nice piece of salmon. Okay? And then you throw your skin away. Okay? So we'll do all of this. Go ahead and prepare each one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut each slice. If you see the little silver flecks on top of the salmon, I pull those off. Those are, the scales, and they're not going to hurt anybody if they eat them, but I just don't like them. Okay, here's another good piece. And looks like we'll get 5 good sized slices off of this. Okay. And I'm going to turn some music on real quick. Hope that's not too loud for you. So now I'm going to remove the skin from the other pieces. Like I said, just laying your knife, I don't know if you can see me really good, but laying your knife just on the board, just right above that first layer of skin, and just sort of slicing all the way across. I like to use a perforated knife on these also, because to me, you can just get all the way through with a perforated knife. Okay, so again, here's a nice piece of salmon for you. Okay. Okay. Start with another. And then just all the way across. And I put a little pressure on my knife as I'm moving it across, because if you don't, you can't really get all the way across there. Okay. Again. If you push the serrated edge of the knife down a little bit, like I said, it guarantees that you're getting every bit of the salmon off the best way you possibly can. And then you'll wash your hands immediately after this. Just because, one, to keep them clean, but two, your hands will be really cold. And this one's going to give me a little bit of problem. Sometimes you do have to work with it a little bit, work with your salmon. This one was not wanting to come off as clean, so I had to use my fingers a little bit more, manipulate it. But normally it's a whole lot easier than that. Okay, but now that I've got it going, I can just go, again, straight across with my knife. Okay. You can leave the skin on to cook salmon also. I'm going to reach up with my hand and, okay. You can leave the skin on to cook your salmon. I don't like it. Washing my hands. I don't like to leave the skin on. That's something I just don't like the texture of when I'm eating my salmon. And I will tell you, gives it a cleaner flavor to me. But this is one of those dishes that if you're not a salmon lover, let me tell you, will be after this. Because salmon has a, it can have a little bit of a fishy taste to it. But if you add that honey and that soy and things like that to it, it almost tastes like candy. I think that radio is too loud, so hold on. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to throw this away. I think my trash is really too full, so I'm just going to set it over in the sink. Okay. Next, you want to take some Kikkoman soy sauce, and I'm going to show you about how much I measure in for this many pieces. It's probably about a, let's see, turn my measuring cup around. It's about 1/4 of a cup of soy. So, about that much. You can do a little more if you like, but the honey, okay, you see how much honey is left in this container? It's going to be a lot of honey. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Okay. Okay. You might as well just take the whole top off because I'm going to use the whole thing of honey. Okay. Honey can be a little bit expensive, I know, but it's what makes this recipe so daggone good. And so I'm just using all of it. Plus it helps all the ingredients that you're going to put on this stick to that salmon really good. Okay, so like I said, I've used every bit of that honey. And I love honey. Okay. All right, so let me wash my hands again. You're going to think I'm crazy with some of the ingredients I put in this, but this is one of those things, the base is really simple, and then if you want to add anything else to it, you certainly can. But the base is the honey and the soy. And then I try and whisk it up real good. It's going to be sort of stiff right now. That's okay. Okay. And then I'm going to tell you my other key ingredients. The real bacon bits, not the dried processed ones, but this kind is really good because it's already cooked bacon, just really ground up into fine crumbles like this. Okay. And and you're going to dump some of it over in there. I would say probably about half the bag because the other half will go on top. Okay, so just half. Mix it in really good. And then these are sliced almonds and they're honey roasted. You can find this over in the produce section. I've looked for it over in the dressings and things like that. I can never find it over there in Kroger or Walmart, but you can always find this in the produce section. So you're going to dump the whole bag into the soy mixture, okay? And I love to eat these, so I usually buy 2 bags because I'm eating on some of it too. Okay. I added a little more soy just then. Okay. It can get pretty stiff with all that honey, but you're looking at this kind of glaze. Okay. The glaze will be really big and thick and rich. Okay. You can line your pan with aluminum foil if you like. You don't have to. I use a non-stick baking sheet like this. And I'm going to go ahead and spray it with some non-stick spray if I have any. If I don't, I'll just use butter. Butter will do. Olive oil will do. I do have some. Okay. This is always good. Okay. But make sure that you just get a really good coat on there. Because with all this honey and the almonds and the soy, it's definitely going to stick if you don't. Okay? Alright, and then you just roll. You're going to dredge and roll your salmon into this, okay? Don't worry about if some of the almonds fall off and don't stick. You're going to pour the sauce over it again when you're through, okay? But there you go with that first one. And then you start adding your others, dredging them. Okay. And you use both hands, makes it go faster. And then I also pick up some of my almonds and stuff and just pour it on top. Okay. And I'm telling you, this tastes like candy. It's almost taking a good fish that's, supposed to be really good and healthy for you. And it doesn't seem like it once you're finished because it's so good. Now, like I said, this is the base. If this is as far as you wanted to go with your recipe, that would certainly be fine. Okay? But, I'm one of these that I add to recipes and change recipes constantly when I cook. So nothing ever stays the same really for me. But I'm going to tell you what I have loved on here. Have you ever bought pico de gallo? I don't know how to say it, but if you've ever bought that at the grocery store, it's one of my go-tos because it's so quick to use. Let me rinse this out. Okay. I'm just rinsing up here. I know you can't see me, but I'm here. Okay. Again, paper towels. Go through a ton of paper towels when I'm cooking. Pico de gallo. Okay, so I do use it. And I usually get the mild because not everybody in my family likes things spicy. But we get this stuff and we use it for almost every recipe, whether it be me sauteing some asparagus to Brussels sprouts, anything. I don't use it with broccoli, but this stuff is like the bomb diggity. It's tomatoes, onions, a little bit of cilantro, some bell peppers. If you want the spicy kind, you can get it with the jalapenos in it. But even this, I add to my salmon. I know, crazy. Um, but you won't regret it if you do happen to. And I don't use a whole lot, just enough to sprinkle across the top. I'm going to have some left over for other recipes later on during the, over the weekend. Okay. So, as you can see, I probably used 2/3 of the container. I'm gonna just pop the lid back on, put it back in the fridge, because like I said, it's not something I want to heavily put on there. But the bacon, I'm gonna put some more bacon on there. Pretty much the whole thing will go across there. Again, these things I use when I'm cooking green beans, and add a little brown sugar in with my green beans, and some salt and things like that. But pretty much that's done. Now, this is a tricky thing with salmon, is getting the right cooking temperature. And so you do have to sort of watch it. If you're ever unsure about what temperature to cook something on, okay, and you don't want something to burn or whatever, okay, Google, okay. There's no way you can go wrong with Googling something and finding out what temperature to set something on. It's always one of those things that it's right there for you. Let's see what this one says. It says preheat oven to 425, so I'm doing that. Convection bake 425. And I do like to use convection on this because I like for the top to be like the bottom. And with salmon, I'm one of these, I sort of like mine just barely medium. I don't like it too medium rare where the fish is not cooked all the way through. Unless I'm eating sushi, I just don't want raw fish. But it's 425. Cook time is basically about 12 to 15 minutes, so it's not going to take very long at that temperature to bake. Okay, it's like you're going to dry your fish out if you do that. If you cook it longer than that, and nobody likes dry fish. One other thing I do is also add some pepper. And I do add just a little bit of the sea salt, just to give it a little bit of the salty finish. Okay, so that's pretty much it on that dish. I haven't decided yet. I'm either going to do sweet potatoes with asparagus or Brussels sprouts, but basically what I'll do is if I do the baked potatoes, I'm going to pop them in the oven for about 16 minutes. So by the time my salmon gets done, my potatoes will be done. And then I was thinking about sauteing some Brussels sprouts on the stove. Just take it a pan, add a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, a little bit of your soy sauce again, just to give it that sweet taste that will blend well with the salmon. You could also fix rice pilaf with this. That's always a favorite with people. My kids love it with angel hair pasta with just, buttered and some Parmesan cheese on the noodles, and serving it as a side dish. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you do give it a try because you will not go wrong with it. Your family will love it. Even those in the family that say, "Oh, I hate salmon." Okay, you'll never hear that out of your family when you cook this recipe. Hope you enjoy.